channel. Welcome to Playing for Second. I am Brian, and I'm going to continue today my 20x6 for 2026 solo challenge with game number 2, Deckers. So this is my newest arrival, actually. It just came out here in the States. It's been out, I think, since Essen of 2025 in Europe, and I just got my hands on a copy, learned the rules, played 2 games so far, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to get it onto the table and see what we got going on for this particular play here. So go ahead and join me at the table and I'll go over what we got going on. Okay, we are set up. So in this game, the setup is random-ish. You draw cards for which tiles you're going to place first, but the rules for placing the tiles are that when you place it, it has to at least touch 2 sides of a pre-existing tile, and then all these numbers have to be going the same way. So everything's kind of going in this direction. I chose to play against Spider for our SMC super something computer, super massive computer maybe, is our bad guy essentially. And then I actually just rolled a die and got yellow. So I chose the primary decker for yellow, which is Tilda Sweet, who to me looks like Tilda Swinton, the actress. So maybe that's what they did there. I don't know. Or it's just me because her name's Tilda. Also, as part of setup, you do get 1 program, all of the colorful circles here, not the black ones or the other side of the black ones, which are white, really kind of grayish. These are the bad guys programs. The 4 other colors that you'll potentially see out here, yellow, red, blue, and then green, are the 4 different programs that you'll be working with as a decker. Those colors all do something different. I'm hoping to show off what they all do here at some point, but your primary color, your entry space, and everything is determined by the color of the decker you use. So you start on space 6 of the yellow server. All of these different color boards are called servers. The whole thing is called a network. That comes into play with some of the verbiage on the cards here. So as part of setup, we put sparks, that's what these black tokens are called, sparks on all of the purple, the spaces in the purple server, as well as 1 on every odd number space on all of the deckers spots. So this is a 1 to 4 player game, so there could be 4 deckers out here. From what I've heard, it's more of a 1 player, maybe 2 player kind of game. I'm not sure. I'm going to probably try to play it 2 player with maybe Josh or Tim, maybe even 3 player. I don't know. But for now, I'm really liking it solo. So that tells the setup rules here. And then they also have special rules that you'll have to go over. And we'll get into those as we start playing here. And then you draw 3 objectives. So there's a copper, a silver, and a gold. And you draw those before you place the map tiles. They are random. There's a decent amount of each. Like these are all the gold ones. But you draw random ones for your first game. There are some recommended ones in the rulebook, and I do recommend doing that. It was a pretty easy game, but it gave you a good way to get familiar with all the different things that you can do with all those. And then, so the front of the card tells you what your goal is for that round. So we're going to be playing 3 rounds, a copper, a silver, and a gold. And then we're going to check at the end of the round to see if we completed our goal on these objectives. If you did, on the back of these, and the rulebook says you're not supposed to look on the back. I mean, as you play the game more, you're going to remember what they do. And I watched Ricky Royal do a partial playthrough, and he said he also kind of something, I think he just plays and he looks on the back anyway, just to kind of see what the success and the failures are going to be. But I'm not going to look for these just because I haven't played it that much. It's a relatively easy boss. It's only a 2 out of 4 star. So I'm not going to look and see what they are. But you can look and see what the goals are. That's fine. You just don't look at the back. So our first goal here, so in the first round, what we're trying to do is key code. Our goal is to have exactly 4 different programs on space 1 on each decker's home server. So again, my home server is the yellow server because I am yellow. So on space 1, which is here, I want to have 4 different programs. Well, that means I need 1 of each color, basically. There is a purple program, but that's only gets used if you're using the purple decker. And purple's wild, basically. But for everybody else, you're using the 4 normal colors. So I started with a blue on there because as part of setup, for every open server that doesn't have a decker on it, you get to place a blue program wherever you want. So I threw a blue one on there. So I'm 25% towards this goal already. There are no special rules for this key code, or for this goal, which is nice. There's no special rules for our gold one either, which is cool. Less overhead for trying to manage on the video. So that is our goal here. We're basically going to play through 3 turns in each round. And those turns are going to be, the timer is also your deck. Your deck has 15 cards in it. You'll be adding cards to it, but when you add a card to it, you take a card away from it. So your deck always has 15 cards in it. So that is our first goal. So our second goal here, our silver goal, which again, we're just kind of looking forward to it. We don't want to have this done too early because you'll still have to have it for the end of round 2. So spaces 2 and 3 on each decker's home server, so again, yellow, must both contain exactly 1 spark or 1 guardian. So guardians are what happen when 3 of these sparks, if they ever get into the same zone, that creates a guardian. Guardians are bad news. They basically explode. If you have a guardian in here and another one is supposed to go in there, it explodes to all adjacent spots. So if you ever get 2 guardians side by side and one of them explodes, it's an infinite loop, you lose. Because one will trigger the other one. Well, when that one triggers, it triggers this one. Well, then that one triggered again, so it triggered that one again. And basically, the whole area just fills up with sparks. That's one of the lose conditions. If you ever run out of sparks or guardians, and sparks are these guys in here, I'm not sure how many there are, maybe 20 to 30 of those. And guardians, there are 5 in this little spot here. If you ever run out and need to place another one, you lose. So we don't want to run out of sparks. So you're trying to, basically, the point of the game really is you're trying to mitigate all the sparks that are on the board. Sometimes you may want to create a guardian, because when you create that guardian, those 3 sparks go back into the box and you can use them. So Jacob's Ladder, which is our silver scenario, spaces 2 and 3 need to have exactly 1 spark or exactly 1 guardian in each. So currently space 3 has 1, but we'll be adding sparks throughout the game as well. That one does have special rules. I'm going to get to that when we get to that actual round, because I'll confuse myself. And finally, Roman Road is our gold goal. Now, to win the game, the only one of these goals you have to do is the gold one. You do not have to do these 2. If you don't, there's going to be a negative effect, and there might even be a negative effect even if you do. It'll just be a less negative effect as if you fail it. But to win the game, you need to complete the gold goal. That is what you're trying to do. You will lose, like I mentioned, if you're out of sparks or if you're out of guardians, you lose the game. So that is effectively what we are trying to do here. All right. So, like I mentioned, our copper one is key code. I'm going to leave that one on top because that is what we're going for first. These are the market cards. I'm just going to give these a shuffle. So they might not be called market cards. I'm going to call them the market cards. I think they're technically upgrade cards. They're advanced cards that go in your deck. Kind of similar if you're a Mage Knight fan. These are basically your advanced actions from Mage Knight. The difference is when you get one, you, again, are not just adding it to your deck. You're adding it, but getting rid of another card permanently. Well, potentially permanently from the game. I'll explain that here in a second. All right, so 4 of these are available. And they do not refill until the end of each turn. And again, turn and round are very similar, but there are 3 rounds to the game, and in each round, you are taking 3 turns, basically. So there are currently our 4 cards available for us to get. These are our 15 cards. So you're going to see those, 5 technically colors. There's the 4 main colors, and then whenever you see this little purple X, that is a wild symbol. That you can use as any of the other 4 colors. So on these advanced actions you see out here, and again, this isn't a full teach, this is just kind of trying to explain what I'm going to be thinking about and what I'm going to be doing here as we go along. So the cost of these cards are in the top right. I'm not sure how easily they show up. So like, for instance, this decoy duck costs 1 yellow. Well, where's that yellow come from? What a fantastic question. I sure am glad you asked. So these are our cards. We're going to draw 5 cards. I'll try to set them out here like so. So you guys can see what we've got. And you're going to be using these cards for the colors on the bottom. I'm going to refer to them as colors. I think they're all thematically referred to as something different, but they're colors for me. So that's what we're going to be doing. So right off the bat, one of the things I want to do is this rubber duck costs 1 yellow, and effectively it gets you 2 yellow as well as an ability. Well, we have intercept here, which just gets us 1 yellow. So I'm going to buy the decoy duck. So I'm going to spend intercept to get the decoy duck. Whenever you buy an advanced card, or an upgrade, whatever they're called, it goes to your hand. So that can now be used. This, because this is the one card I used to pay for it, is out of the game. It is a basic card, so it's out of the game. If you ever use an advanced card to buy an advanced card, the card you use to buy it with goes back up here. So it's available later. This will refill at the end of this turn. You can only ever completely wipe this at the end of each round. And you can either choose to keep all the cards that are up here or wipe all the cards that are up there. You can't pick and choose which ones you get rid of. Again, we'll get to that. Let's see. Another one here, we have this apprentice card, which gets us 1 red. This one only gets us 1 red, but it also has an ability. I don't even know what the ability is. I haven't read it yet, but there's really no reason not to pick it up. So we will. We'll pick that one up. And the ability on the bottom is an interrupt. After the dice are rolled during any decker's infect action, infect actions are like the fighting in the game, you may discard this card to add 2 to the infect value. So add 2 to your die result. Fighting in this game is die rolls. You'll see here we have 3 different dice, the red and the black. When we roll for a fight, that effectively would be like if we had a red program on here and we were also in here, we could play a red card to initiate a fight, and then you just roll the dice. There are modifiers based on other things, but in this particular case, it would just be 1-to-1 because those are the only 2 things in here. But then if we play this, we would get another 1. So we would get a +2 modifier, they would get a +1 modifier. You roll, and you're looking to win. On a tie, you lose, they win. So that's what infect is. So on this one, it's an interrupt to basically just add 2 to an infect roll. Okay. And then this one costs 1 green and 1 blue, which isn't terrible. I have no blue unless I wanted to spend my wild, which I don't. And this one costs a red and a yellow, which again, I don't really want to do. So for the time being, those are just going to hang out. And now we're going to kind of look out here and see what we have going on. So any start of turn effects, also technically should have happened already, but we don't have any start of turn effects. The spider has a spawn step effect, an end of turn effect, and then you skip the moves sparks step, which I'll kind of go over when we get there. So the spawn turn is skipped in the first round, so we're not going to do the spawn turn. So we are ready to perform our actions, which again, I kind of already started here. I jumped ahead a little bit. So what you're going to be doing is to put these programs out, you need to spend 3 colors of whatever color you're trying to put out. So for instance, our current goal is to get all 4 colors in here. Currently, we have blue in there. Cool. To get a green in there, one of the ways you can do it is we would have to spend 3 green colors. You can then place a green program in there. Our special ability with tilde is to do, that's called an upload action. So when you do the upload action, it only costs 2 yellow instead of 1. So we can go in there and we could spend our decoy duck or our diversion, and we could drop a yellow token in there, which is probably what we're going to do. Blue, which I don't have any blue, is how you move. So you can spend 1 blue color to move 1 blue space. If those spaces all have blue on it, so for instance, if I had a blue there, and you initiate a move action, you can move along those for free because they're in, that's called a pathway. That's actually one of our, I don't think I actually went over what our gold goal was, but our gold goal is to have a pathway that connects this 6 to this 6, and it has to go through at least 1 other server besides these 2. So my goal, what I'm thinking is I'm going to go right around like this, which is why I put those 2 over there to start. But in this case, if I were to initiate a move, this is all free. So then for me to move here, it would really only be 1 in this case. So that's how movement works. And that's really what the blue programs are for, is to help you with movement. The yellow programs are kind of cool, and I'll go over those here real quickly, or real soon, because I think I'm going to be using them real soon here. So we're going to use our reroute. Move these up a little bit. I'm going to put my discard right here. Our reroute is going to give us a wild and 1 yellow. We're going to use the wild as a move, and we're going to move into space number 1. Now, when you move, you can take with you any number of programs of the same color. So I'm going to take this yellow with me. Cool. And then we are going to go ahead and use diversion with 2 yellow. The first one will be to activate, these first 2 yellows is going to be to do the upload action, which is our special ability. So we're going to upload 1 more yellow program. So we're just going to take another yellow and put it out there. Try not to cover up the numbers. These have standees. I have it laid down so that it's easier for y'all to see where I'm at. I'm the only thing on the board though with a standee, so we're going to put the standee back on there. Should be able to tell that that's me. Gives me more room. Okay. So now that we have 2 yellow on there, we can do the yellow ability. The yellow ability is called Modify, I think. Yeah, the yellow ability is called Modify. So to trigger the yellow ability, you have to play a yellow, and then you're going to play another color of whatever you want. And what it does is if you outnumber the number of sparks with your number of yellows, you can take away a spark and a yellow and then put back whatever color you paid second. So for my purposes here, I don't want another yellow there, really. Because... All right, so we're going to do our decoy duck to trigger the ability, because it's the only yellows we have. And then we're also going to pay... I'm going to go with a green. And what that's going to do is it's going to remove both of these, because we outnumbered it. And we're going to put a green there because that's the color I chose. I could have put another yellow there, but I'm trying to get, for our objective here, for our goal, I'm trying to get 1 of each color. So now we have 3. I just need to find a way to get red in there. These go back to the supply. The supply is limited for you as well as for them. So if you run out of something, you can't place them anymore. And as I already showed, the blues and the greens are the same tokens, just the other opposite sides, and the yellows and the reds for us are as well. So if I flood the board with yellows, that means I won't have as many reds to put out there. And reds are how you fight these things kind of head to head, which I may or may not do a lot of. Typically, whatever color you are, at least in this is, again, only my 3rd game, but whatever color you are is kind of the one I've kind of started to focus just to kind of learn. In my first game, I played red, and maybe my 2nd game too. So I had a lot more fights going on there. But they are die rolls, so they can be a little swingy with that. Okay, so I have 1 card left, and it is a red card. I don't really have anything to do with it. You can keep 1 card and carry it over to your next turn. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to keep this for my next turn. So the next thing we're going to do here, nice little player aid, is we're going to resolve end turn effects. So if we look on here, our goal has no end turn effects. However, Spider does. In each end of turn step, the active decker removes all programs and institutions. Institutions are our versions of the Guardian. So these squares, which I may or may not get to, but these are they help you kind of boost actions for whatever color that you put out there. But you're going to remove all of those that have at least 1 spark or Guardian in each adjacent space. So basically, if something gets surrounded, so let's say these spots were switched here. This guy is surrounded, so he would go away. That's what the Spider is trying to do. The Spider is going to be putting out a lot of sparks to try to surround my pieces and then take them away once they're surrounded. So looking across the board, none of my pieces are surrounded. I mean, it's the first turn, so yeah, that's to be expected, I think. So we're good there. That is the end of turn step. Draw 5 cards. So you're always going to draw 5. Like I mentioned, you can keep 1, so you could potentially have 6 cards in your hand. Oh boy. Well, I think I know how I'm going to get my red program. I have a bunch of red cards, so it won't be very difficult. Then you're going to restock the upgrades. Again, if you bought any, which we did. We bought 2, so we'll put 2 back in. There we go. And then you're going to go back up into the resolve start of turn effects, which again, looking over here, there are no start of turn effects. We are now, however, going to go to our first spawn step. Spawning new sparks, and you will spawn the amount that is in these goals here. So here's your bronze, your silver and your gold. So in this first round, we're just going to spawn 1 new spark for the next 2 rounds here. Normally how that works is you would take both of these dice, you would roll them, and this would now be a 5 yellow. So I would go over here, I would find the 5 yellow, I would put a spark there. But with the spider, you don't roll this. Instead, you're going to put 1 spark on the lowest number of whatever server you rolled. So we'll roll that, blue. So you're going to go now find the lowest number rolled with the fewest amount of sparks, including 0. And for any, I'm sorry, it's whatever space has the fewest amount of sparks. But on a tie, it's the lowest number. And to start the game, there's going to be a bunch of ties. So this will go on 1. Whenever there is a spark on a spot with our program, at the end of the round, there's going to be an attack phase where basically all the sparks attack. Unless it's red, it just goes away. The spark automatically wins and our program goes away. If it's red, we do that infect roll, but you can't augment your rolls with any of your cards. So if you really want to attack and get augmented dice roll modifiers, you need to spend the cards to attack. But at the end of the round, there's going to be an attack anyway. So that guy, unless I get over there and do something about it, that blue program is going to be gone. All right, that was the spawn step. So we are back now to do some more actions. Let's see our new cards. Okay. Well, this here has an execute. So some of the cards will have, there's different keywords. Interrupt, we kind of already went over the interrupt. That'll tell you what it interrupts, but it interrupts some other type of action. Some of them have an execute keyword down here. That means instead of playing this card for its colors, you can just discard it and do the execute that is listed on there. Let's see. I could give up my memory steal to get neural splash. Yeah. I could give up sabotage to get a viral splash. Execute. Okay, those are both not terrible. You have to put the execute on both of those is putting sparks on the map, but then that allows you to also put programs on the map as well. So I think we are going to go ahead and get those. We're going to get rid of sabotage and memory steal. And we're going to grab both these. We got rid of wilds, which is maybe a bad thing. The other thing as well is you can spend 3 of any color as a wild if you need to. Obviously, it's not the most efficient way to do things, but you can. Okay, I am then going to spend 3 red to put out a red program where we are. So we now have met our goal. The only thing that can really get in our way is if they spawn in yellow. If they spawn in yellow, it's going to spawn on 1. And then it's up to a die roll as to whether or not we actually would win that. So I don't want to completely abandon that goal yet. Might try to even maybe get more reds in there or something like that so that we can be sure that we have that here at the end of the next round, because they will spawn 2 more times? No, they'll spawn 1 more time before we need to have that complete. Okay. Let's see here. That's not terrible. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move with the data scan. And we're going to move there. We're not going to take anything with us because we want those to stay there. And then let's go ahead and I think we're going to do the viral splash. So this is going to put 2 sparks on our space. We're doing the execute ability. But then we can put 3 red programs on up to 3 different open spaces. Open spaces are basically the edges. They are spaces that are not completely surrounded. Spaces that are completely surrounded by other hexes, those are closed spaces. So we're going to put that one there just to give it a little bit more defense, kind of. Let's go ahead and put put one there. No, we'll put it here. See if we can try to maybe clear that out. When they fight, it'll come down to luck, but we'll see. And yeah, you know what? We might as well put one where we are, just in case we get some good moves to do there as well. All right, and then we got 2 blue left. I don't want to do that again, so I could, in theory, put 2 more on there, but that would trigger. Once I put the first one, that would now become a guardian, and then the second one would explode. So I definitely don't want to do that. But I think that's the card I want to keep. So maybe I don't keep either one of them. Maybe I use 3 of these colors as a red. Yeah, we're going to try it. It's going to come down to a die roll, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to use all 4 of these just as a red to basically start a fight right here. So, and this is kind of really just showing you how reds work. So how you're doing the die roll modifiers, you're going to take every red that you spend on the cards, so 1, plus any red programs that are in the space, 2. And then if you had any institutions, that's these guys. And this is the benefit of building these institutions. If there was one in that space, it would add 4. If there's one adjacent, it would add 1. But we don't. So we're just looking at a +2 to our dice roll. However, there are also 2 of those in there. So they also get a +2. So it's really just a straight die roll. We want the red die to be higher than the other one. It is a 4 versus a 1. So it is, which means both of these have been knocked out. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. I do need one of them there next for our next goal, but we have plenty of time to try to do that. Cool. That is us. So, end of the round. We are going to look and see, is anybody surrounded? No one is surrounded quite yet, so we don't have to worry about that. We are then going to draw our 5 cards, which is all we have left. We're going to refill the market. We are then going no start of turn effects for this particular boss or this particular goal. So we are going to do the spawn step, which again is just, it is the purple server. It is the one with the least amount of sparks on it. They all have 1. So ties go to the lowest number. So there are now 2 sparks on there, which really lowers the odds of that fight going our way. Okay, and we're ready to perform our last actions of this round. So there are not going to be any more spawns before we check to see if we resolve our objective. There's going to be fights, but there's no fights up there. This is currently, these 2 are our only fights where the SMC will attack us. Again, here it's a die roll, and here we're just going to lose the blue. So I'm good to probably just leave that the way it is right now. That'll complete our goal. So now what I'm trying to do is kind of move over to silver. So how am I going to complete our silver goal? Well, we need to get 1 spark in 2, leave it there, and then just fight off any other sparks that come in. And there's a few ways that we can do that. So what we're going to do, first of all, is there anything I'm going to buy? Might as well get rid of this diversion to buy Carbon Clone because it has an ability. Can double commands of a card. Cool. Digital Tattoo. I don't want to spend 2 for 1. I will spend 2 for 2 here, though. So we'll get rid of the focus and pick up Psionic Scatter. This has an executability. Relocate any number of green programs anywhere on the network. Each space, each 2A space adjacent to its current space. Now the green ones are neat, and I'm going to start using the green ones here. I think that's the one color that I haven't gone over what they do. But I think we're going to start using some green ones here at some point. Okay. Yeah. All right, we are going to move It's only going to get us a move of 1. But oh well, we'll move in here. We'll bring in the red with us. And we are then going to use this wild and these 2 green to put a green program in where we are. And this is not super efficient, but we're going to use these 3 as a green. And now you get to see what the greens do. So what the greens do, and this works anywhere there is a green program. We wouldn't actually have to be in the spot. We are, but we wouldn't have to be in the spot. And this is called shifting. This is pushing circles, basically, from where a green is to somewhere else. So I'm going to push this into 2. And the main reason I'm doing that is because I'm hoping now to kind of start coming over to purple, and like this one here, maybe push it into 3. And if we do that, then I think we would be good for our next goal as well. We'll find out. Okay. So, end of turn effects. Still don't have anybody surrounded by sparks. So that's good. We're doing a pretty good job of keeping these sparks at bay. We're going to draw our 5 cards and we're going to restock. Okay. And then we're going to enter the SMC phase. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to attack. So this is where you just look on the board and you see, okay, where are there spaces with both sparks or any SMC token and R tokens? So like right here. A fight will happen. This just goes away. It loses. Here, it's 2 to 1, but we have a chance. So we're going to roll the 2 dice. They're both 1s. So even on a tie, if this wasn't 2 to 1, we would still lose. But because we lose, this goes away. And they remain there. Okay. Now we're going to look to see if we resolved our objective. So the goal was to have exactly 4 different colors on one space, which we do. And there was no special effects. So we did it. We had all 4 colors on there. So we have success. Nice sync up, turning the key code. I wonder what could ever stop us. We're going to place 1 institution of any color on a green or blue, on the green or blue server. So we get to place a free institution. Interesting. All right, so the benefits of the institution, already kind of went over the red one. The red one gives you better dice roll modifiers if you go into an infect. The yellow one, when you're on there, you actually, when you're doing the modify, you don't have to outnumber with yellows anymore. If you're 1 to 1 like this, you can actually, with the institution, you would be able to just do 1 for 1 and replace your token. Oh, the blue one is a teleport. So if you're on the blue one, you can actually teleport to anywhere on the same network, which is everywhere. And then the green one allows you to ghost. And ghosting is what this little token is. So if you're standing on a green institution, you can ghost and basically anywhere on that same network, like if it were here, I could be like, all right, I'm going to take my actions as if I were there now. So it kind of gives you a little bit of versatility for that. I think I'm going to go, I'm kind of leaning into the yellow. So I think I'm going to put, they want to put a yellow institution right here, I think. Yeah. Also there, for upgrading, if you're on an institution, you can bring in yellow programs for 1 instead of 2 in our case, or 3 as well for the upload. Had I put a red there, I also could just spend 1 red to bring in another program for red. But I think I'm going to lean in to yellow. So that's what we're going to go with for that. All right, so our next goal here. Technically, this is now the move sparks phase. Spider ignores this part, but this is the move sparks phase. So this is basically telling you that on the purple server, it's going to go down. So you would find the highest one, and it would go down. If there were multiple on there, they would go down 1 at a time. But we skipped that for this. And then for red, you would move up. So you would find the lowest number that has a spark in it, and you would put that spark one number higher. And it just moves those guys around. But part of Spider Saint is skip the move spark steps during the SMC phase. So we don't do that. I'm just going to set that to the side. Our next goal, spaces 2 and 3 on each Decker's home server. So again, here, and we have a 1 on 2, needs to have either 1 spark or 1 guardian. Both have to have the same thing. So either 1 spark each or 1 guardian each. There are special rules, though. During each end of turn step, on all servers apart from the active Decker's current server, so currently we're in yellow, move all sparks 1 by 1 numerically downwards. Do not move a spark if it is destined, if its space has if it's going to go to a guardian. So you begin at space 2 and it goes to 1, and then space 3 goes to 2, and space 4 goes to 3, and so on and so forth. On every server that we are not in, so these 4 currently. So we want a spark in 2 and 3. So currently, if we stay here, that one will remain there. But if we leave, it's going to go over there. The problem is, if we don't go to purple, this one's going to go into here, and that's going to create a guardian. Which isn't, again, not super terrible to have a guardian on the map, or 2 guardians on the map, unless they're right by one another, and then you really probably don't want that. So, all right, I don't know if I shuffled these up, so I am going to, I think, just keep that market as well. All right, no start of turn effects. It is time for spawning new sparks. We are now in silver, so we are spawning 2 sparks. First one is going to go to red, so there are none in red, so the tiebreaker says it goes to 1. Second one goes to green, and again, it's going to go to 1, which, if we don't do anything about it, is going to take that blue program out, which we don't want for the Roman road. Again, the Roman road, our gold objective, we want to connect this 6 and this 6, and it has to go through another color server besides these 2. So right through there, probably. Currently not looking great there, so let's see here. All right. Can we buy anything? We can buy the digital tattoo, so we will get rid of our bypass to get the digital tattoo. The digital tattoo, when you use it to buy something, you get a bonus wild color to use. So it's a green plus a bonus wild, which isn't terrible. I kind of want this microbionics. Its execute is relocate any number of sparks on your current server to any spaces on the network without a guardian. So that would be pretty awesome for both of our last final goals. So I do want to get that. So I could use green, blue. This would also be a wild, and I'd be giving up something. Probably, though, a good idea. Okay, so we're going to use the digital tattoo, we're going to use the data steal, and then we're going to use infiltrate. So we're using 3 cards to buy 1 card. This one, again, gives us that wild, so it'll act as a yellow. But we have 1 of each color, so we are going to buy this. It's going to go in here. You then have to get rid of a card. So you choose one of the 3. If I choose the digital tattoo, it's just going to go back up here, and it'll be available for purchase. So I'm going to choose Data Steal, and it gets removed from the game because it was one of my basic cards. These were spent, so they go in there. Interesting. I might move into purple. And move all of those. With this execute, relocate any number of these guys to on your current server, so I'd have to move to purple, to any spaces on the network that don't have guardians. So I can spread those out all over there. If I do that, they're all going to kind of start rotating. which again isn't too bad yet. So we might do that. I don't know if it might be too early to do that. I don't know. Let's go ahead and I think we give it a try though. We're going to give it a try. We're going to see what happens. Let's kick some tires. Okay, so we're going to spend 2 blue to move. And we're just going to move in here. We'll bring the green with us. Why not? And then while we're in there, we are going to use the microbionics for its executability. Relocate any number of, why am I blanking on what those things are? Sparks, what those things are called all of a sudden, on this server to anywhere else in the network. So yeah, we're definitely going to move these 2 off of the 1s because they're going to be potentially sliding down later. So let's put those on 6s. Let's put that on a 6. I think the 5s should be relatively clear. So we'll put these on 5s. This might come back to bite me. And then this one I'm going to put on 4 because then it will go to 3, which is kind of where we want it. Okay, that might have been a terrible idea. Time will tell. And then finally here, I've got my decoy duck. I'm going to go ahead. You know what? No, I'm going to save that one. We're going to save the decoy duck. I think we might try to go to this institution on my next turn and just start pumping out some yellow so that we can go convert some of the sparks. Cool. Okay, so end of turn. When there are multiple things that happen at the end of turn, you can choose how they happen. So one of the things is we just make sure that nobody is surrounded. And that would be silly if they were, because I would have just done it to myself. No one's surrounded. So now we are going to do our goals objective, and that is on every server except the one you're on, everything moves down 1. So 1s don't go anywhere, but 5 goes to 4, 6 goes to 5. Same here. This 2 will go in here, this 4 here, this 5 here. So these 2 next turn are going to move themselves into where I want them to be. I just need to get rid of this red because if it wins, it gets rid of the spark, and we don't want it really to get rid of the spark. All right, so that was the end of turn. We're going to draw our 5 cards. Replace our 2 cards up here. And then we are going to spawn yellow. Okay. 2 has the least. Oh, okay. Spawn another one in blue. And 2 has the least. Or multiple have the least, but with the tiebreaker. All right. So we can go back into yellow now if we want. And if we go back into yellow, none of these will move. We'll want to clean up. Yeah, we'll want to clean up the ones we have in there. Okay. Do I want to buy any of those things? I don't. Yeah, might as well buy a decoy duck with intercept. It's worth more. This is my only basic left. I could replace it with this. No. Okay. I think we're good with those. We are going to Neural Splash to move in here. Because that's where our institution is, we are going to spend 2 yellow, and that'll get us 2 yellow programs. We will then spend 2 yellow, and we are going to convert that spark into a yellow. So we would lose one of ours, but again, lose one of ours, but then we'll just get a yellow right back. Okay, we are then going to move. We're going to use this wild and then these other 3 as wilds for 2 movement. And we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to take these with us. And then we're going to use this last decoy duck. Oh no, wait, we don't want to get rid of that spark. So we're going to leave those. We're going to move here first. Bring those there, and then grab the green and bring the green in here. Or do we? Now we're going to switch it up. Our move 2 is going to be over to here, and we're going to bring these with us. And then with this last decoy duck, we're going to get this spark out of there. We still have time before we need to clear this guy out. Cool. All right, end of turn. No one is surrounded. We're doing a good job there. Plus that 1 card really helped. We do, though, have to move everybody down a space. So 2 comes to 1, 5 goes to 4, 6 goes to 5. Which I think I forgot to do that last time. So these should be on 3 and 4 with the rest. These guys don't move because that's where I am. Cool. Okay, 5 cards. Replace our market. Oh, that's the rest of our cards. Cool. Okay, and spawn. All right, that is where we are. So that's going to be yellow. The lowest one without is literally where we are. Cool. And then we are going to red, which the lowest, that's 2. All right, so this is our last turn here. We need to complete our objective. So we have the sparks there. We need to get rid of that red. Because if the fight happens and the red wins, the spark will go away. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want to win, which is unfortunate. So what we're going to do, well, first let's get a deception spike for this diversion, because why not? And then we are going to use this reroute, and we are going to modify. So we're going to take both of these away, and then with the wild, I'm going to choose green. So instead of a yellow, it's a green. All right, and then we're going to use psionic scatter here, the 2 greens. Again, these are they call it shifting. So we are going to shift this one in here, and then we are going to shift this red. We'll go over here. So now the green will die, but the spark will still be there, and we've completed the objective. Okay. And I don't really want to lose all these guys, so I might want to go over there and do something about that spark. I mean, those reds are gonna fight it, but so let's go ahead and no, I need to start building my network. So let's go ahead and move 2 and go there. And then we're going to do a fight there because I want to make sure I keep that blue, because for my final goal, I still need 1, 2, 3 more blues out here. Yeah. So we are going to use Deception Spike. Oh, wait, remove 1. Oh, we're just going to do its execute ability. Remove 1 spark from your space. If you do, you may then place a yellow program there. So we will just remove this spark and put a yellow program there. And also, when I moved, I could have brought this green with me so that it doesn't die. I don't necessarily need it, but might as well. I then have a red left. You don't keep this between rounds, so, but there's really nothing I can do with it, so we're just going to get rid of it. Okay, end of the round step. Oh no, I gotta undo what I did. We're gonna undo it. This green's gonna go back here. This yellow is gonna go away. This spark's gonna come back. And I'm gonna do what I originally, and then I'm gonna not move. I think I was here when I moved to. If I move out of that server, these two are gonna go down. I don't want those two to go down. So yeah, the last thing I did, this, I moved that in here, and then I pushed the red over to there. So now we'll reset that. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. This game's very puzzling. So I need to stay in yellow, is basically what needs to happen. Let's see here. Okay, we're still going to, I think we're still going to move. Yeah. We'll move into here. We'll bring, nah, I don't want to bring the yellow with me. Man. We'll move 2 here. Not going to bring the yellow with me. And then we're just going to use the deception spike, and we're going to change this spark to a yellow. And then I still don't have anything for this red to do, but that's fine. Okay, end of the turn. All of these things are going to fall 3-2, 4-3, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, 3-2, 4-1. These don't because I'm in there. Cool. Nobody is surrounded for my people, so we're good there. So we are going to get rid of this and just draw 4 new ones. Console Cowboy, Euthropic Boom, Reset Spark, and Duality. Okay. We are going to shuffle up, and then we're going to have our attack phase. So the sparks don't attack the institutions. At least I don't believe so. I'm not sure on that. Should probably double check. Because if so, that institution is gone. But I don't think I need it anymore. Nope, you just look at spaces that have programs as well as a negative thing. So that one doesn't count. So let's see, this green is gone. We're gonna have a fight here. It's 1-1, so we need to have the red die larger. We do not, so both of these are gone. The red goes away, and then it's left by itself, so it goes away. Okay, that's good for the fight. We resolve our objective. We have 1 spark in 2 and 3. Which means we're good. So we can now flip this over and success. Excellent thinking. It almost makes me hopeful. We're saving humanity, 1 nasty, bitter countermeasure at a time. Place X sparks freely distributed on any number 1 spaces, where X is the number of deckers plus 1. So yeah, not a good thing, but the bad part is place 1 spark on space 1 of each decker's home server, then place 2 sparks on each decker's entry space. So slightly better. So we have to place 2 sparks on any number 1 spaces that we want. Which, yeah, number 1 spaces aren't looking good. This one's got 2 in it. This one's only got 1 in it, and we no longer are doing that slide thing, so that's not terrible. This one has none in it, but I have a bunch of things in there that I probably want to bring with me, most likely. So I think it's going to be here. Those shouldn't really get in my way. We'll just put them there. Cool. Okay. Move sparks. That didn't have any, so we wouldn't have moved sparks anyway, but spider skips that step. And then we are ready to start a new turn, and we're going to be spawning new sparks. And now that we are in the gold turn section area, whatever it's called, we are going to be rolling 3 new spawns. All right, red. So a spark in the lowest red that doesn't have one already. That's 1. Red, great. That's 2. And green, which will go into 4. And that is our 3rd spawn. We've got 8, I think, sparks left in there. So we can survive 2 more spawns. We do need to now get our pathway going. And we drew absolutely 0 movement. That's great. Okay. Well, we're going to have to, we're going to use Psionic Shatter, and we'll use the first one to push this there, and the second one to push us. And then we will use our Digital Tattoo. Hold on. That might work. We're going to use the Digital Tattoo to buy this. And we're going to use its executability, which is flip one of our programs anywhere on the network. We're going to flip to that one. Okay. And let's see here. We are then going to man, this isn't looking great, if I'm being honest. So we need to push this here, basically, which should be easy enough. And then we need 1 here and 1 here, and that will complete our final objective. We do need to move before we do any of that. Okay, so we're going to move 2. We're going to use these 2 cards. 3 yellow as a wild, and then this wild as a wild. And we're going to move 2 spaces. So we're going to go here and then here, and we're going to bring these yellows with us. This red we'll just keep. I don't super want it, but we'll keep it. So we're going to draw 5 new ones. End of turn effects. None of our people are surrounded, and that is now our only end of turn effects. Oh, the other thing I forgot, we do have to be at the our entry space as well. I think we're going to be cutting this pretty close. Okay. So, don't worry about that. Yeah, nobody's surrounded. Cool. Nothing to refill. We drew our cards, so we are ready for 3 new spawns. Yellow. It's going to go in 1. That's going to go in 2. And that's going to go in 5. Okay. Yeah, we have 5 of those left, so we're okay on that end. All right. Okay, we're going to use data scan. The wild's going to be yellow, and then we're going to keep the blue, and we're going to modify here. So that's going to come out, and a blue is going to go in there. Okay. And then Then we are going to, man, it's cutting it close. We are going to get another yellow program. We are going to move, bring in the yellow programs. I don't want to turn that to red. Yeah, this red one right now is pretty much useless, other than just a wild. This is the one I want to keep. This one. No, I need to use it. Okay. We're going to have to use one of these as a yellow to trigger the modify, and then one as a blue to put a blue there. Okay, now we just need to put a blue there on our next turn, and then come back here, and we're good. Is there anything I can do here? Place 2 on your space to place 1. I don't care about that. So we're just going to get rid of this one and keep that. Draw our last cards. That is 1 blue card. Yikes. Cool. All right, let's spawn red. It's going to go on 6. Where we are, crap. That might have just lost it for us. Because we do need to survive and attack. All right. And yellow. Which goes... Oh, no. Okay. That goes there. All right, on your current server, swap the spaces of one program with one thing. Okay, so this can solve that problem. How am I going to solve that problem? Okay. I think we lose this one, but let's make sure. Okay. All right, we have to move here. We then have to place a blue there. To do that, we need 3 blue. So that's going to have to be... All right. Is there an easier way to move? There's got to be an easier way to move. That's the other side. On your space, either remove all of this. Okay. On your space, either remove all sparks or replace one with one of the same color. We're going to buy that. We're going to buy this, bounce this, and this goes back up here. Then we're going to use it for its ability, and that removes this. Okay. I need to save this for its ability. So we're going to use this for the wild to move here. I'm gonna be short. I'm gonna be short. Okay, let's take that back real quick and see if there's a better way to do it. I like this game. Very puzzly. I'm sure you're probably seeing something I'm not seeing. But, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can do it. I have to do too much with these 5 cards, and I have to get rid of 2. I have to put a program down, get rid of 2 sparks, and get back to my starting spot, which is this 6 over here. Which, getting back to that, once I put the blue here, I just need a movement point because that's all a pathway, so it's all connected. The problem is doing all of that. Your current server, I can swap. So the decoy duck can take care of that. This can take care of that. But then I need a movement point, and I need 3 blue. Crap, I don't remember. Did I play this one? Okay. So if I do this to get rid of this, and then I play this to move, yeah, there's my problem. I then have to play all of these to put down the blue, and I don't have enough. I don't have another move to get back to my home server. Even though it's free, you still need a movement point to get back to the home server. And I don't think there's another way for me to do it. Not that I'm seeing anyway. Because this thing, modify. If this were on this server, I could modify that, and it would just cost me 1. I'm not even sure that would help. But it's not on that server. All right. I'm just going to try something different, but I'm pretty sure this is a loss. So I'm going to do this to get me another yellow. I'm then going to do this to modify. So I would get a yellow, but then I'm going to lose the yellow and this spark. To modify that to a blue. All right. So this one put the yellow down. This one modified it. Oh, I think I'm okay. I think I might be okay now. So this one I'm going to use for the move, and I'm going to take this blue with me. So free in 1. Leave the blue here. I'm not sure on the rules. I might be able to even go back and forth. I'm then going to use this decrypt to go back here. And then I'm going to use the decoy duck. Execute on your current server, so yellow, swap the spaces of 1 program and 1 spark. So I will swap this with this. And I think that did it, and I don't think I cheated, but I was in my head there for quite some time. So now we go to the SMC attack. Well, end of turn phase, which none of my guys are surrounded, so we're good there. Moving those all the way over there with that 1 card early was pretty awesome. Okay, so that's the end of turn. So now the SMC attack. This is going to be an attack over here. It doesn't super matter, but we're going to do it. All right, 4-2. So add 1 to my 4 for 5. So yeah, I actually win that. So these sparks go away. That's all the fights. Each decker's entry space must be linked by a pathway to a space 6 on purple and 1 other server right here. And the avatar must be on their entry space right there. Success! Can we build it? Yes, we can. Of course, there are always a few potholes along the way. Congratulations, you have won. Now, worth noting in parentheses here, playing against an upgraded SMC, then continue to the final gold cycle instead. There are variants to this game, including kind of doing a final boss fight kind of thing, which is that variant. Another variant too, I'm just going to completely mess up my board here, but another variant is all of these boards are double-sided, so you can either play with all the sides being one color, or you can flip it to the variant sides and it mixes up all the 1 through 6s for all the colors. So if you do that, the yellows are all still one server, but that server is spread out amongst all of the tiles, which makes it more difficult, I believe. I haven't tried that yet. I just struggled with one of the easier bosses. So yeah, obviously I haven't tried that yet. But yeah, first impressions. I like this a lot. I never played Renegade. I owned it at one point, started to read the rules. The theme does nothing for me. All right, all the theme does is make me think of the movie Hackers from probably the 90s, 80s. I don't know when the movie Hackers came out. I'm dating myself. But that's all the theme really does for me. I don't really like Cyberpunk. The whole hacking thing, I'm not really into it. But the gameplay is fantastic. So if you think the gameplay is fun and that theme is something that you enjoy, this is an automatic pickup, I think, for you. Especially solo. Now, in terms of if you have a game group of 3 or 4 people, don't know. Can't speak to it. Can't say I necessarily want to try it. The neat part about that is, though, the turns, when I took my 3 turns and my 5 cards, there's an active decker, but you really can take those turns however you want. So if one person wanted to take there are 3 turns back to back to back, even in a multiplayer game, they can. You can pick who takes those, pretty sure, from the rules that I read that. The board's the same size. I mean, in a solo game, it does seem kind of weird, like on this one, and I haven't played it enough to know if this is a thing, but I basically could ignore half the board, just because all I really cared about down there was I was hoping I didn't run out of sparks, because if you run out, you lose. And I didn't. I just won that fight there. I had 7 sparks left. Now, had that kept going, I would have even had more, because this was real close to turning into a guardian at one point. And well, yeah, this was too before I screwed my board up. But yeah, really enjoy the gameplay. There's that mage knightiness to it. There's a little, not really Spirit Island, kind of more Pandemic with the explosions. I mean, Spirit Island cascades to one land. This has that Pandemic part of this can explode, which causes this to explode, and when that explodes, it goes back, and just that chain reaction of if you get 2 right next to one another on the map, and one of them explodes, your game's over. You could have all your sparks still in there; it doesn't matter. They're going to continually bounce off one another, which is kind of neat. I mean, you just obviously avoid that. There's dice rolls, which the dice roll for the combat, meh. I'm usually not a fan of dice rolls for combat. But if you were playing one of the red characters, the one red character gets a +1 for all infect rolls. And he has more red cards in his starting deck. So if you're going into fights, you're going to have a higher dice roll modifier. You can even make it so that you don't have to roll. Because if your modifier is high enough, they're only D6s. So the worst you can do is 6 to 1 with modifiers. So if you can math it out so that your modifier is better than what they can roll, you don't have to worry about it, and you win. And with a red decker and with more red cards, I mean, obviously this one was primarily yellow, but with more red cards, that's possible. And had I been playing that, that's probably how I would have played it. So yeah, the deckers and the programs really switch it up quite a bit in terms of how you're going to play and what kind of strategy you can use. But again, I think that was a legit win. I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure, though. And buying that card being out here for that last turn that I could buy, making it, really I ended up using it for just movement, which I needed. So, but yeah, this one was really fun. And yeah, I'm glad I put this one on my 20x6 for this year. I knew I had it pre-ordered. So I figured, yeah, this is going to be coming out at some point in the first quarter. And yeah, pretty happy that I decided to add this one to it because this was pretty fun. So I've got 3 more plays of it to do too for my 6 for the year. But yeah, as of right now, that is Deckers. It was a good time. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. We'll catch you next time.